Hey there, let's take a quick look at how to test your certificate of completion. So I'm going to start here in step 5 in the Experience Engine. And first let's look at setting up a certificate. To set this up, you're going to click Create New, Create from Playbook, and go ahead and select the completion certificate. And this is going to add an automation into your course. Now, to understand how this automation works, let's open it up and look at the different pieces of the automation, and then I'll show you how to test it. We have a starting trigger here, which by default will be when user completes the course, and completes the course is defined as when they have checked off every action in the course. We have a pathway. Most likely this will apply to all students. And here are the important pieces to understand. We have a webhook that actually generates the certificate, and then we have an email that sends the certificate to your student. Let's look at setting up your webhook. You're going to put your own account email right here. You're going to have a certificate ID. If you are using one of our pre-built certificates, you'll just have a number like 1. If we've created a custom certificate for you, then you'll have a unique custom code that we've given you, which you'll put in this field right here. In many cases, you won't need to do anything with the rest of these fields. You just need to put in your account email and the correct certificate ID. So here's the important thing to understand about running a test. When we open up this email right here, this is the email that's going to be sent to your student. And you can see this text that says click here to generate a PDF certificate. And right up here, you'll see this send test email link. And so you might think, well, I'll go ahead and click on this to test the certificate. But here's the problem. If you send a test email, all you're doing is sending an email. If you haven't run the webhook, then you haven't actually generated a certificate. So if you try to test your certificate by simply clicking send test email, all that's going to do is send you a test email that leads to a 404 page. We don't want that. What we need to do is actually run this webhook, generate the certificate, and then it will automatically send this email to your student. So if you wanted to test this, how would you do that? First of all, we would need it turned on. And right now it's set up to be triggered by if user completes the course. So at the moment, technically the only way to test this would be for you to create a test student and go through every single action in the course. You probably don't want to do that. So what you want to do instead is temporarily change the starting trigger. Instead of starting trigger course completed, we're going to temporarily switch that over to be triggered by tag added. And I'm going to select a tag. Tag 0 will work well. And I'm going to update this. And now, since everything's turned on, as soon as I add the tag 0 to a student, it's going to generate a certificate and it's going to automatically send an email to that student. And I could go to my email and click on the certificate and view my custom certificate. Once I'm done, of course, I will change that starting trigger back to course completed. But this is a good time to mention that you get to decide what you want to be the actual trigger here. So maybe you want the student to have to complete every single action in your course to receive the certificate, but maybe it's not that strict and you don't actually want them to have to do every single thing. So for example, maybe you want to select training completed, and when they've completed the last training, not counting the bonus trainings since those are bonuses, when they've completed the last training that's a real training in the course, that might be a good way to trigger the certificate. So this is up to you. You can also trigger it by a certain number of points, up to whatever you need. Another thing to keep in mind is this condition right here. Right now, this is set to have the experience run once only. This is just a really helpful condition to keep in mind when you are testing, because if you've already sent a test student through and you've already received a certificate for a particular test student and it's set to run once only, then it's not going to generate the certificate again. So once you're done testing, you'll change your starting trigger to whatever you would like it to be. And now your certificate is ready to go, and that'll be sent as soon as your user completes the course.